going to tell you that I am always asked, do you have any grandchildren? I said, yes, I have thousands of them because I speak in this valley for the last 20 years. And my hopes are with you, and you are my grandchildren. And you know what? I also consider that you are the greatest treasure that this country has. I hope that you realize that you value yourself so much because you are important, and every one of you is the strength of this country. I want also to talk about to you how we rebuild our lives. But before that, I was liberated in a barn that was probably as big as this on a death march. It's called a death march because as we walked, there were dead people on both sides of the road. Because it was winter and it was snowing, and if someone couldn't walk anymore, the SS soldiers just shot them. They were not going to leave any witnesses behind. And the Allied planes were dropping bombs on us because we were surrounded with SS people in uniforms. So once we reached that barn, they didn't know where to take us anymore because it was practically the end of the war. So they closed us in without food, without water. I don't even know how long we were there, but we were several hundreds of them who went in, and only 30 of us survived. We were liberated by the Russian army. We probably could have been free even before, but we didn't even have enough strength to go to the door and to see if the soldiers are still there, the SS soldiers. They just left us. They closed us in and left us because they were protecting themselves. That's how close the Russian army was. The Russian, people had so many lights that when someone was dead next to me, I didn't even know who it is because lights leave a cold body. So that means all I saw is a big form totally covered with lights. I don't know how the Russian soldiers could even determine who was still alive and who was dead. Because I was totally unconscious, and I must have been warned because they did liberate me. They took us it was the MASH hospital, the military hospital of the Russian army. They took us in a gym of a school, and they went out in the village and took bedding from the village and put the bedding under us because they didn't want us just lying on the boards there. And they took pretty good care of us till they had to move on because the war wasn't over yet. This was end of March, beginning of April. The war ended in May. I can tell you, people usually ask me, how did you feel when you were liberated? And that it was the greatest moment of my life. But I can tell you that I felt scared, bewildered, confused. I knew that I have to rejoin now the regular world, and I had to learn all over how to love again, trust again, believe again, laugh again. And if you ask me how long it took me, I am still working at it. Yet, we couldn't even go back to the country we came from, because they took everything that we owned away from us, and they weren't going to give it back to us. So what did the Allied Army do with all these survivors? So they decided that they will have to find a place for us. But no one wanted to again open their door to us. So they put us in certain homes, like a big, huge camp, like a summer camp. And guess where? In Germany. Because the Germans were defeated, and they were the only ones who didn't have the right to say, we don't want these people. And now the army saw to it, and when I say the army, it depends by whom you were liberated. You could have been liberated by the British, by the Americans, or the Russians. And now we had food, and we had shelter, and we were not in no danger, and no one was killing us. And if you think that we didn't know the value of this, believe me, we did. But what we needed more is people come to us and help us to cry on their shoulders. We were all